rice, right? The Nigerians or the young Nigerians will defend the jollof rice because they know the beauty and the quality of the cuisine jollof rice. The average Nigerian youth will defend their culture, will defend their art form, their creative space. They know Wizkid, Burna Boy, Timaya, Davido, Tiwa Savage, Shay Shay. They all know all of these people, right? But when it comes to politics, infrastructural decay, leadership that is grossly in a questionable disposition, then they can't defend that. So for everyone that is outside or inside, they want a better Nigeria, right? So NSAS was that we want a better Nigeria beyond any other script that is being written about that. But the key thing then is the youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow if we have to go through that axiom anyway. So who are these people? Yeah. The average Nigerian youth, and Sonny, please, if I'm wrong, tell me. If you're not in Nigeria, the average 16 to 17-year-old Nigerian is enrolled in a university. Okay, let's say the universities outside this country. So we have them scattered all over the country. The big men, they carry their pikin, go those ones. Anyway, I fall within that, no big man, but my kid is out there. So you have a 16-year-old in the university. By 20, that child is a graduate. And you know how well equipped they are when they school there. The same thing with those here. At the age of 20, they're not yet back. Some will not come back to do their masters. So what are they doing? They're still there. So they're enrolled to do their masters. They're not here to do youth service. So by 22, they don't get their first masters. By 24, that same child of 16 that left the country don't get double masters. So they have the first degree and they have double masters. And they don't have an opportunity to come to express that knowledge within this space, this climb, because there's nothing agreeable or made whole for them to come into this space, right? So these young people are all over. And if you go to our communities again, Sonny, physics, chemistry, okay, I come from the Niger Delta region. So oil has always been what has been there for us. And at the same time, it either makes or mars our region anyway. So everybody is coming to the Niger Delta to take as much as they can. Now, physics, chemistry, and biology, which are the prerequisites for the people in the region to study those engineering courses or those technical professional courses, are almost non-existent. When was the last time they did practicals in the village schools? None. But you see, let me don't say that we're ill-equipped, but the truth of the matter is that so when you have the oil companies remain in these places, you don't have professionals properly within the host communities to be a part of what is happening in that community. Even those that are abroad, you're not bringing them to work in the system because of how, as we be for this country. So what we now have, our culture, our tradition, our way of life, a child that is brought up in a home with many years of cultured living becomes an epitome of growth of a better family anyway. So why do I say that the youth development and culture and entertainment economy is that even those who have studied medicine, those who are engineers, those who are lawyers, find a way in today Nigeria to be a part of a culture of expressing themselves, because the first degree most times that their parents ask them to do them anyway, or those that love to do it, they do it, but they go back to doing what they love to do. And today in the world, 2021 is the United Nations International Year of the Creative Economy for Sustainable Development. Therefore, the creatives, if they understand what they have as an asset, or even if the government does understand that the art is an asset, then they will now know and begin to teach on how to monetize what these assets are. That's just touching it a little bit in this passion. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Thank you very much, Yibo, for that brief introduction to this topic. The creative arts, culture and entertainment economy. I want to tie it to leadership. About 40-something years ago, I don't know, maybe you were old enough then, in 1977, Nigeria gathered all the people from Africa and they had something called Festac 77. I'm sure a lot of the younger generations probably do not remember that, but I faintly remember it myself. All right, in 1977, they gathered all those people together and they had the national or the African art and festival culture or whatever it's called. And we can still see relics of what that event created in Nigeria. That's why we have Festac today. Festac, people do not realize the Doba hotels were created around that time. Doba Hotel, both in Lagos and in Kaduna, were created around that time, and the various housing estates. In your view, and if you remember that, so I'm just taking us back a bit from that almost 45 years ago, 44 years ago till now. Have we had anything in that magnitude that have helped us in, and that's when they built the National Theatre, by the way, and it's still the National Theatre we have up till today. I don't think any state has any, and in the country. So in your view, why did we stop development along that trajectory? What happened? Why could we not sustain the momentum that was created about 40-something years ago to develop our culture and make it a piece for tourism in Nigeria?
If I have to borrow from Fela, they call them Kolo mentality. So the African man, so without, in as much as I know that it is a pastor Itua that has made me possible for me to be here, but let me go up again to the churches again. So you see that the churches, right, either from the Pentecostal or from the Anglican churches in our communities, right, part of what they do is we preach about the gospel of Christ to God. In the same process, we preach against the beauty of our culture and our tradition, because that part becomes juju, so to speak. Sonny, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's a bit muffled, but I don't know. Can we all hear him on the platform?
I can hear.
You can hear him.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great.
All right, go on, Yibo.
Okay.
They can hear you. Yeah.
So you see that there's a time.
Please unmute.
Yeah. Yibo, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You are muted.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So there's a rivalry, so to speak, from those who want to preach, from the point of view of the pulpit, propagating the gospel, and those who are in our communities who want to do the things traditionally. Now, if you juxtapose that, and because they say religion is the opium of the masses, if we have to use that axiom again, one with God is majority. I always say this all the time. I mean, man no die, man no rot. Anyway, so it is by faith that you're going to go to heaven or you're going to get to the virgins across. It's by faith, because nobody don't come back tell you truly, say, virgin did there, or you go that side. It's all by faith. But again, we also have very bad people from both ways. Either you're a Christian or a Muslim, or you're an unbeliever. We also have good people. Our tradition is a way of life. I've said this before. A child brought up in a home with many years of cultural living is an exemplary child. Now, when you preach against your culture, and when Festa came, I remember I was in Township School 1, Moscow, Port Harcourt in 77. I saw Kenneth Kaunda, Jomo Kenyatta, Arab Moi, Kwame Nkrumah. I remember that time because if you remember, like Doba, the Odum Masquerade, which is the Boa Constrictor Masquerade, one of the biggest masquerades in the blue economy point of view, was done in Okrika at Ibulia Dikimo. And everybody moved to that aquatic stadium. And it was one of the greatest sites ever during Festa because everybody left Lagos like Doba. They came to Port Harcourt. Now, nobody wants to continue there because creativity and entertainment is fun for them. But in America, they tell you there's no business like show business. So if you do not understand it, then you're limited to knowing how to apply it. So Festac left because the beauty of the African art is in the mythical nature of it. I mean, we like to create mysticism. Oh, even when it's an art form, but you go there like saying juju because of what when the juggler in Cirque du Soleil or in those acrobatic performances were in awe of it, right? We even go to watch movies like Aquaman, Thor, which is the god of thunder anyway in the Yoruba perspective, right? We all like to do that because na Kolo mentality, but when it becomes our own, then na juju. And that is the problem that we've had with Festac. Look at the development of the strides, development strides of Festac, from how we're able to build the National Theatre, Festac Village as in Festac, Doba, all of those things allowed people to, we had inbound tourism, inbound. In Nigeria today, almost every travel agent does outbound. And what do? They take you to Walt Disney, you go to the Caribbean, you go to Oxford Street, you go to Dubai, but none is tweaked around for you to come inside here because anything was sweet for us that allow for us to gather traditionally, na juju be. And because of that, everything that concerns our art form that is traditional is seen as juju. And who in his right sense wants to go and do that when everybody, they look at, if your traditional marriage is now you prefer the white wedding more, and meanwhile, the white wedding, is also a traditional way of the white man. And our traditional weddings are even more colorful and even more outstanding anyway. But like Fela says, the Kolo mentality of it allows for you to stick to the European culture. And we're not deliberate with telling our stories. And because we're not deliberate, our stories are being told, and the juju story about our art form is so very strong that everything that is natural to you that can grow wealth for you in your community is seen as juju. And that's why Festac died. Now Fest is on. But again, like I said, everybody who is in the arts, anybody who is in the National Theatre or state troops, what do? When governor is coming, when we have a foreign visitor, they call the arts council or dancers from the village to come. When they finish dancing, you give them Sprite, Coke and meat pie and fried rice with 100,000. Then they go. Then you fly one guy from abroad with all of the paraphernalia. Then when he even comes and sees the beauty of your art form, they want to embrace yourself, but that time you no go know, say you don't run yourself a bad program because now see finish for your art. And that is the tragedy of our creative and tourist economy in Nigeria.
Yibo, thank you very much for saying this. And I appreciate, today you are DG in Rivers State, okay? And we'll come down to Rivers State and what you are doing as DG of tourism and what you think the prospects are. But let me take it a bit more national. You have said so many things that we are not telling our stories enough and that we need to put our stories there. I don't know whether there is a meeting point for you and other fellow tourism people in the tourism industry, whether at the national level or at the various states. What are the tourist sites? Because I want to say this, when I was working, when I was in the bank, I traveled a lot around Africa and West Africa. I went to Gambia, whether it was Ghana, whether it was Senegal, whether it was Mauritania, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. I went all over these places. And in each one of them, there are specific welcoming tourist attractions. And I see white people walking on the streets of this country. And most of the time when people come to Nigeria, where are the tourist sites? I mean, when we were younger, we used to have the Ankara Game Reserve, the Kogosi Dam, and all those kind of places. I mean, so maybe I'm just not in tune again. So question number one, which tourist centers, attractions do we have in Nigeria? And how do we turn the narrative to tell our stories more? Being a practitioner now that you are, what are you guys doing to make sure that our story is put out there? And what are the sites that we have to market to the world?
Okay, so let me answer you from the point of view of this site. You know, we're always doing site all the time. We deal with infrastructure. This is 2021. COVID was there at 2020. Nobody's going anywhere. Right? So even United Nations are advising you to digitize your assets. Right? So you're not digitizing your assets. So we have Ikechi Uko. He's doing so much as a practitioner in trying to spread the news of tourism. The tourism practitioners are trying so much in this country. Isaac and Neka Moses of Goge Africa, they're trying so much to making sure things work out. I can see somebody say Calabar Carnival is fantastic. Let me tell you why sometimes I like to tweak about the Calabar Carnival a little bit, yeah? Let me just go that. Yes, so Donald Duke did Calabar Carnival with one brand is Destination Cross River, right? So that means that they wanted people to come inbound into Cross River, and he got it right, you know. The only thing a little bit is they stuck to the Caribbean style carnival, right? And the Caribbean style carnival, because yeah, we like to see, you know, scantily dressed, attractive looking, correct babes, so to speak, if I have to allow me to use that without offending anyone, you know. So they want the Caribbean style carnival, but because it's a novelty to us here in the same mentality of copycat of Cologne mentality. So the Calabar Carnival sweets, but we never see anybody they show flesh every time. You know, we like to go and see flesh and, you know, copy the Caribbean. Now, the tragedy of that is that while, okay, I'm a member of the Master Blaster Band. Yeah, so Master Blaster Band. So I was the artistic director, Best Band, 2012, 2013, and 2014. Myself, I'll get her name again. Myself, the guys from Trinidad and Tobago, Shabaka Thompson, and the Calypsonians that came with me to come to work with this. All of them made Calabar Carnival. But one of the things that we discovered again with when the Calypsonians or the Trinidadians came to be a part of the carnival, and they also came to River State and they saw the Canning River of River State, which is more traditional. One of the things that I got from them was that they would prefer coming to River State as opposed to going to Calabar. They were coming to Calabar to work and make money from helping the Calabar people play carnival like them. But they came to Port Harcourt to see a carnival that was original based on the narrative that they know that the Portuguese took people away from here to their side. And that's how the carnival started. So you see that for inbound, people would rather come in to watch your traditional ways of life in the mass than to come and watch a Caribbean style in Cross River. Nigerians will hardly go there, but inbound, they will rather go to Brazil where it is authentic. They will rather go to Trinidad where it's authentic. They will rather go to the Notting Hill Carnival where it's authentic, because that style of carnival is a Caribbean approach to carnival. Our traditional format, which was where the Portuguese took away, and then from the Amazon jungle, where the plume of flowers, feathers, you could be found, and then they blended the traditional way of the African festivities with the Caribbean style. got into what you have in Caribbean. So yeah, once we know that for you to do inbound, then this is 2021 where we are digitizing our assets. People are not coming. Now, NAFest is the National Festival for Arts and for all art councils in Nigeria. Now, I think it's a biennial or I think so, once, I don't know, but they do it regularly. Now, Sonny, let me tell you how tragic this is. I have been to NAFest, so I know how colorful and how spectacular it is. But you know, when you don't see your masquerade every time for corner, you know, you have that mentality saying that you do, so you're not even interested in watching that. But you go, so you go carry camera, they snap, food you open, but they wonder what you do. The same thing when you go to their place, you want snap. They too, they're tired of saying their own thing. So if you do not understand what you have, you cannot get it right. So the value chain is, and I say absolutely, once we know, because we have a lot of people, like I said, I've called Ikechi, I've called Neka Moses, and we have the tourism right now. There's a tent, even the federal ministry is also gathering, you know, information for them to do an annual convention next month, you know, to understand how we can monetize our assets. So what are we doing? Before I stop, what do we know? Inbound is good, but you can imagine that nobody's traveling again. So what are we going to do? All over the state of Nigeria, our conversation is Boko Haram, ISWAP, iPod, Niger Delta Men. That's what we have. So go to Facebook, it's APC, it's PDP. The one is fighting. If you check the algorithm of that, technically, everything you get, the narrative is that of violence. The narrative is that of insecurity. That narrative is a sweet narrative for those who like to spew the bile and anger in the system, right? So you see that it kills the beauty of what Burna Boy is doing, the beauty of what Davido is doing, the beauty of what Tiwa Savage is doing, the beauty of what Timaya is doing, right? Because these are the ones that the young people can attest to. Because traditionally, the older people, they speak saying a juju anyway. So when you balance it, once you understand that, I mean, Davido can go anywhere, Burna Boy can go anywhere, Wizkid can go anywhere with their credit card and get a Rolls Royce. Why? Because there's a value with their product and they conform to international best practices because their songs can be found on Apple Music, Spotify, or any other place, and you can see that their downloads runs into millions of people that download their music, and that is the value chain. But because we only dance for dignitaries to come and drink Sprite after they go, that is the value we get for our art form.
Thank you very much, Yibo. That's very good. I want to, the whole idea is youth development. We have a lot of youth. In your view, what is the total value do you think you can put on the culture and entertainment industry? And how many youth do you think it has the capacity to engage vis-a-vis what it is doing currently, if we're able to harness and do what we're supposed to do? Because, I mean, a lot of youth, they will obviously like to be taken out of poverty. The government tells us they are taking 100 million people out of poverty. I don't know how they can do that without, you know, engaging this industry that mainly the youth are the operators in this industry, whether it is the juju culture you talk about, or it is the modern music. Is the young people that can spin and dance our traditional dance. The older people cannot do it. The same Davido and Burna Boy them is the young people. And they have a whole lot of economy created around it. So I have a follow-up question, but I just wanted to know how large this industry is and how many people can it potentially employ or engage, including the spin-offs
We're looking at over, without exaggeration, we're looking at over 100 million, right? See, let me even tell you that. See, you need to deploy culture and entertainment economic toolkits first of all for people to understand first. You see, the basic thing is for them to understand their assets. If you do not understand what you have, you can't monetize it. So we must be deliberate with making people understand that this is an asset, not just a feel good, because when you view it as a feel good, it becomes tragic. Now, the thing is that we have over 371 ethnic nationalities in this country across the states of the Federation. Now, imagine that. Take 40% of over 200, no, think about it, 50-50, let's say 50-50, because we have across gender, male, female, across. So let's do 50, like 100 million set of people across this country will be empowered from Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, Delta, One Face, Imo, Enugu, Abia. Okay, well, let's go back again. So let me, I don't want to delve into politics or the things happening in the Southeast. Now, in Nigeria today, in December, the greatest inbound movement by air travel is going to the East. So even if Air Peace flies once a week in January, in February to August, September, once it is late November, December, almost every flight is going to Owerri or Enugu or through Port Harcourt. Then they go from road to, isn't it? Because that's where everybody's going to. Now, that is tourism. Are there any kind of festivals created for the homecoming of Igbo people in the Southeast traditionally? Is there any plan for that as a country? See, if you don't understand that, because see, that movement into Southeast is a whole lot of industry and the money spin for tourism. If you don't understand it, it's because you do, if you do not, Becca said, yes, because you're too decadent to receive it. If you do not understand it, you don't receive it. And that is our tragedy. Because across board, I've told you before, the devil's and idle brain is the devil's amusement park. It's not a workshop. When we're in school, if you allow me to digress a bit, when we're in Uniport then, so we had 4 major cult groups then in school. We had Vikings, Buccaneers, Mafias, Pirates claimed they were not in school right then, but they were still there. So if we had to do a show in myself and Victor Antai, my friend, so if we had to do a show and we needed the show to work very well, what we will do, we take a drink and take the invitation cards. We go to Capo, to the Capi, as they call them, for Mafia. We go and see them, pay homage to them, and tell them, we have to recognize, no, don't they laugh, but that's our reality. We go tell them, say we get show, then they go give a nod, because now we come up from there. You go to Viking, you replicate that. You go to Mafia or Buccaneer, you go say, Pirates claim they're not there, but we still know where we still go and beat them. Now, once you sort that out, this might be like incongruous, but it's a fact. Once you do that, what happens? Your show becomes a Mecca or United Nations playground of some sort, right? So what do? You now know that nobody will break bottle for your show because they will come. Now, the key thing is this, Sonny. When they come, like every other student that have come to watch the show, and they see that it's a wonderful show, you hear one guy from a call that will come and tell you, say, Sonny, I dey play guitar. Another guy will say, oh, but I be comedian. Now you see, because there's a platform for them to watch without breaking their heads, right? Somebody now tells you that he can do something in the creative space. Now, when you now talk to them again and gather them, they no more gather as chord members, they gather as session creatives. And the language will be, give me F minor on G or this, blah, 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 blah. And that is a strategy across board. If you do not engage, if you do not deploy, we say have restive nature of our young people. So we can do almost 100 million across this country, being strategic with the creative economy.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Yibo, for that. So we'll narrow it a bit down. So you have spoken largely about strategies and what we can use to deploy. Today you are DG in Rivers State, and I read somewhere that you have 100 billion at your disposal to do tourism in Rivers State. I don't know whether that is true. Whether Wiki will give you 100 billion.
Let me call it, that's a lie. That's a lie. Let me. I don't want to use the word lie, but let me say it correctly.
Well, have you seen it? Have you seen it also?
I'm the one that. So I had that. So I was in a meeting like this, right? Same thing. I'm telling you that we can do 100 million Nigerians, to gainly employed in the art space. So we said in Rivers State, that's what we call revenue-based financing in the 4-year plan that we are. So that means we can do an RBF for the creative industry to the tune of 100 billion naira for 4 years. That's what I said. It's not even sponsorship. It's partnership across board, right? So, like I said, in Rivers State, the key thing is we have 23 LGAs and 26 ethnic groups. And what you can do in that space, can you hear me?
I can hear you, go ahead.
Okay, so in that same space, okay, so in that same space of Rivers State, what that means is that we can guarantee at least 260,000 jobs in that same space. Because you see, let me just, I have something here that I'm working with. So just to tell you what is happening in the world. Africa, Ghana last year, 2019, when they did the year of the return alone, in terms of inbound tourism into Ghana, was over $3 billion in dollars. Are you aware? Okay, so once they saw that all the hotels were filled and everything, they planned again infrastructure to see where they can build a bridge that will allow for the African Americans who want to go to the motherland to come to settle. So they have over $6 billion in dollars for that before the COVID came, right? So that is Ghana using tourism, culture, and a way of life to do that. So we're saying that Nigeria today has 4 cultural economic zones, right? And that is Lagos, Kanu, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. That means that strategically, we can create a revenue-based financing for the creative space to the tune of 100 billion naira across board. And that is what I said. And that's why we got the interview. Nobody has given us 100 billion naira. We're saying that it is possible that we can create that wealth and we can monetize our art form, then we can grow capacity for everyone to have sustainability in the creative space of Rivers State.
All right. Okay, Yibo, thank you very much for that clarification. Let's go down more granular, and I'll begin to get my audience and participants to get ready if they have any questions or things they need to add, because I know that there are a lot of people on the platform that are passionate about the art industry, and they may have 1 or 2 things. But Olu, be on cue. We are going to play something you did, a very good work that I have seen. That's the Seki dance, I think. The Seki dance, we're going to play it and let our audience see what it is, and you're going to speak to it, what it is. I understand you did that piece about 20-something years ago, and what has happened since then? Why haven't we had follow-ups, and why are we not? Or is it just purely that dance that we're exporting? How far has it gone? What is it creating for us? So Olu, if that video is ready, let us play it, let us watch it and see what it looks like. There's also another video we would show when you spoke about the church condemning our culture, calling it juju and co. We'll show another video of where the church was actually supportive of our traditional dance. Even the bishop stood up to dance to a traditional music. So Olu, if that first video is ready, let's take it so that Yibo can speak to it and we'll know what that was specifically. Olu? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you created this very lovely. It was just a short piece. This, I understand, was done about 20 plus years ago. What was the thinking behind it? Why did you create it? How far has it gone? Why haven't we been able to do more? Where are we with all these kind of projects in Rivers State particularly and in Nigeria as a whole?
Okay, so before I answer that, Seki was originally called Uwa Maputi. Uwa Maputi means dance of the water spirits anyway. So that was an entry to the 10th anniversary of the National Black Arts Festival in Atlanta, Georgia. And we didn't go then. It was sponsored by Allstate Trust Bank. And almost 15 or more years, we ran into Dr. Ifie Sekebo of Heritage Bank in 2016. So we had a remake and changed the name from Uwa Maputi to Seke. Seke literally means dance. And ever since, Seke has gone global because Seke traces the American tap dance to the indigenous people of the core, or rather the old River State, as I would choose to say that. And we were on the verge of the American tour last year, 11 states and 9 universities to give lectures before COVID came on. And then I got this appointment. So I'm in Port Harcourt waiting for what to do. And let me just tell you that it's the same thing that we have in our communities, right? But the difference was using the Yibo technology in terms of digital assets in juxtaposition to the content that is very African and blend together as if we were doing Broadway. So we meet international best practice, but the content still remains local. So all you have to do is collaborate to know how to do that. And in terms of color, clutter, and spectacle, you maintain originality. And that is what everybody now wants to, okay, how did you do it? That's what we did. Blend, work with people. And, talking about working with people, sorry, I have to do this personally. Now, we talk about security or the insecurity. We're not deliberate with that narrative anyway. And because we're not deliberate with that narrative, I'm not saying that Nigeria is safe in all, it's very bad. Nigeria are bad in some places, Nigeria are good in so many places, right? Okay, I have my sister and friend of the Dubai tourism, Stella Fubara. You can't even imagine that even when she's Dubai, the Opobo-ness in her always comes out, right? And even while she's doing her job as a staff of Dubai tourism, you see that she does everything possible to have a collaboration with the Dubai tourism and the Nigerian tourism. And when that is also a problem, she goes into states, okay, maybe with Lagos tourism or maybe with Rivers tourism, depending on the individuals or how they do things. And you see that most times it's very frustrating when you see that she's doing so well where she is, but she's trying her best to see the collaborations coming through the countries of origin for her and where she's domiciled into work. And that is a challenge because you see that where she is, the beauty of the people and what they do with the kind of monies they have and the things that we deliberately ruin ourselves in here, they make you the craze. So we must be deliberate not only in collaboration, but we must be deliberate for people to feel safe in our narrative, because security, you know, is also a perception. So if I'm in Port Harcourt, right, and Borno State has Boko Haram, but totally in the world, Nigeria, Boko Haram is in Nigeria. So it affects the one who is somewhere in Akwa Ibom State, because, and meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State has never been to Borno State anyway. So I'm not going to say I'm giving credence to the violence in Borno and non-violence in Cross River State. But what I'm saying is that the management of our narrative is so political that no matter how good you become, as I say, when I'm good, my mother never hears it, but when I'm bad, she does. So consistently, the bad news will be there, and whatever we do in the creative space, and without security and without the need for people to feel secure, nobody wants to do an inbound tourism to a country where they know that they can be kidnapped, beheaded, they steal their pants, and all of those things. And those are the kind of things we like to spread as part of what is our existence. So Seki is there to show the beauty, the colors and clatter of our people, that is not kidnapping and all the rest that you have in front of you in the news.
Okay, fantastic. I would like the participants to be able to join to fill in some questions, but Yibo, thanks for speaking like one of us. And when I say one of us, those of us that are on the other side of government. But today, you are on the other side, so you are one of them. You are, whether you are the inner caucus or you are in the outer inner caucus, you are one of them. So the question for you is, as DG in Rivers State of Tourism, what are the plans that you have to do some of these things you are talking about, in spite of the insecurity? And you told me that you are digitizing your culture and you are trying to make it not so. What exactly is the whole plan? What are you doing in Rivers State? And can you speak for your colleagues also?
Yeah, so I can. Well, the thing is that I'm not a card-carrying member of any political party in Nigeria, you know, so I belong to the people, as we always say. So I believe that my appointment was based on merit of what I do. And so I will work with the primary objective of the vision of the governor of Rivers State as it concerns tourism and growing the creative industry. It's a tall order, like I said. Not to me, but again, in the general belief system, because people see the creative space as a feel-good space. You know, you want to do party, you call one artist to come and dance, you know, you have a budget for that. Once you don't pay them, that is, you've settled the creative for that moment, right? So sustainability is not part of it. So what we're trying to do, and if I have to borrow a leaf, when I was made DG, the first person again that I had to speak to was Stella. One of the things she said was, first of all, is making the people understand what tourism is first. Domesticating that. Because like I said, tourism for them would be, I won't go Ghana. I won't go.
So have you done that? Have you done what Stella told you? If you have, how did you do it? And what are you doing still?
Okay, so what we're doing is sensitizing. It's a process. And then we had, okay, so we have the low-hanging fruits. We started with low-hanging fruits. And if you watch, if you buy Xbox for your kid, right, minus FIFA, depending on what you have, over 60% or more of the fight games are Japanese culture-oriented stories, right, from their gods and all of those things, right? So we said we're going to do low-hanging fruits first. We have 23 LGAs and 26 ethnic groups. So we started off with photography competitions as a low-hanging fruit. So every photographer in a local government area take images of unity, send 10 images. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So 10 images from your local government area, something you know worthy enough for us to talk about. So if one photographer submits 10 images times 23, it gives us 230 images. Now, don't forget that we have more also sending in. So averagely, we might have a minimum of 500 images. So that's one. We said, do 5 minutes documentary of your community for us. So it's a competition for videographers and filmmakers. Give us 5 minutes documentary. So if you do 5 minutes times 23, it runs over an hour. That is if we edit fully. But individually, we can cut it less or remain the 5. So we have something about every LG and ethnic group, right? So with Dubai Tourism Support, we now had a graffiti competition where draw Dubai in your mind's eye. Even if you've not been to Dubai, can you create an image of Dubai and also an image of your locality there? It worked, and we had the Dubai Tourism speak about that. If not for the Emirates, Nigerian Broglo, they were built to go to the arts festival in Dubai with all their visas and tickets by Emirates ready. Unfortunately, they couldn't go. So these are the things. Then we are now said, go back to your community as well. Find out from your father, from your grandmother, your uncle, and tell us the stories of the mythical narratives that have been part of the oral tradition of our communities, right? So once we gather all of these stories, we get historians and anthropologists and people from Wesabi write English to come and edit. So we create what we call an anthology of mythical stories of River State. That anthology allows for us to create a farm of some sort where young people will begin to animate these narratives. And when you animate it, you're employing them, you're giving them rights to the intellectual property. And by God's grace, you're also seeing how best you can communicate with Walt Disney, because they deal with fantasies of children's stories. So these are the kind of things that you begin to do while waiting for festivals to continue, for people to gather and do carnivals on the streets. So we are beginning to digitize our assets. And like Seki, if Seki is a brand, which is a communal dance that we do in our communities, why are we not now planning to say, you know what, we're building a digital village? Look at what Bolanle Austin Peters did with Moremi. Now, this is 2021, where theater is coming back. So we're not doing Hubert Ogunde again. We're going back into contemporary theater. And if you're still doing theater like you did in the university 20 years ago, you're going to lose the plot. Because as a judge on the Nigeria's Got Talent show, so let me give you this as a freebie for people. When you're a judge, or when you watch the America's Got Talent or British Got Talent or whatever the shows, what do you see? Once you start and come, they look for you just for, when you come to perform, they judge you by your talent. Either you get a golden buzzer, or they say 4 judges say you go to the next round. That time you come, there are no elements of the art. It's just you, the beauty of what you possess as a contestant. But once you identified to go to the next round, what happens? They get the makeup artist, they get the fashion designer, they get the voice coach, they get the choreographer, they get the set designer, they get all of the elements that make complete theater. Then the next time you come to watch that same person you saw the previous week, it becomes spectacular, spectacular. So imagine when you make your art form as colorful as they are across this country, as spectacular as that, and put it in a digital format. And then you're showing it competitively or for people to see. Naturally, people will want to see the beauty of your art form, so that after COVID, they're curious to see what you have that will make them come. Because deliberately digitizing your art form will take away all of the stories about bombing and all of those. Because if you push those narratives deliberately in the net, they will make the other stories go to page 3, page 4, page 5. Then page 1 to 4 will be your art form, the beauty of your community, the beauty of your state. And that is what River State is trying to do.
Fantastic. I really commend those efforts. I mean, those are really low-hanging fruit. Fantastic. For me, I think that's a very beautiful place to start. If you have questions on the platform, please raise your hand. I will acknowledge you. A good friend of ours on the platform, Shesuviri from Kenya, says he strongly agrees that we as a people in Africa must take charge of our narrative. We cannot wait for government to do everything for us. We tell our stories, the story of our parents and the story of our grandparents. To him, that is doing our bit. Yibo, some people have also raised the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, which you briefly touched on, that without security, tourism cannot flourish in any country. How do we juxtapose this issue of insecurity, even when COVID goes away, to enable the arts to survive and strive in Nigeria? Is there anything you guys in the practicing industry can do, or you just have to wait for the country to be able to deal with that?
No, at all. So I go back again to, sorry, I have something here. It's called, as a festival that deploys culture and entertainment economy toolkits for peace and security across communities through what we call a high space development program. What is high space? High space is designed to mobilize, mentor, and mainstream over 37 million culture and entertainment economy ambassadors across 371 ethnic nationalities in Nigeria to function as eco-citizen peace and security marshals to promote culture, integration, advocate for peace and progress in the security of lives and national assets in Nigeria. Now, let me tell you, I told you about the same thing about when we're in school, how to do a good show. You have to go and meet these people, the fraternity people, and get a buy-in into your show, isn't it? Now, it might seem, let's don't do the ostrich for this matter. No matter how you did, I don't learn one thing. When you join one group against other group, the hell? Sorry.
Can you mute yourself? Don't worry, it's not you. Some people are just talking. Erika, please mute yourself.
So yes,
go ahead,
a whole lot can be done if we know how to engage the people and the same youth. So somebody comes and you want to secure one area, you give money to secure the area. And part of what you need to secure the area, now money to go buy sophisticated weaponry, right? You don't already allow for them to buy the weaponry. So who are the people that are coming to stop the people from doing the flow? They're your rivals, isn't it? So you give money to one part to fight the other part, rather than integrate everybody together. And the creative space is that amalgamation, so to speak, if I have to use that word, is that one that brings them together. Because I've told you before, physics, chemistry, and biology, which are the prerequisites, are almost non-existent. And because there are infrastructural decay in these areas, it's not because I did work for government, I don't know what it is. I come from communities where no being get light, they don't get water, they don't get anything. When they come out, go township, they see how the town, they come out and begin the area. Now, but I'm saying that because today is 2021, based on our knowledge of COVID of 2020, we can progressively and proactively use our social media space, or rather our digital space, to begin to sell our quality arts, our quality culture, our quality tradition, because people will not want to come in yet, right? But digitally they can, and digitally they can access what we have wherever they are, and then their curiosity arouses for them to come in to see what we have. And there's a way that narrative becomes to go. Even the government will go sit up, because once they don't, they see, say, people want to come. And like I told you, it's a creative economy space for Lagos, Abuja, Kanu, and Port Harcourt. And if we don't strengthen those things, right? So let us believe that right now, Nigeria in another, you can quote me, I said this free of charge, We are not, I'm not running as a bad program. We are not going to be like Oxford Street or Dubai in another 50 years. We're not wired for that anyway. So in terms of the spectacle of infrastructure we're there for that area, while we are progressing to making Nigeria that beautiful, the key things about our culture, our way of life, the beauty of it, from whether you're from River State, whether you're from Yoruba, whether you're from, okay, look at Doba happened last month, right? Doba happened last month. If I'm wrong, let them correct me. But I believe that one horse, for you to costume a horse, is going to cost maybe a minimum of 1.5 million. Now you can monetize every ornament or costume on that horse, not even the horse itself. Now that is money. If you understand how to monetize that asset, how can Doba happen in Nigeria as beautiful and as wonderful as Doba is? The man from Southeast, the man from Southwest, the man from South, no even know, say that kind of beautiful thing that happened. How another person from outside come? So we must be deliberate with our communication, whether it is insecurity or fighting security, any which way, we must be dedicated and deliberate. But let us use the digital age to push the beauty of our art forms for people to see it where they're seated in their houses. And then by that time, that curiosity will let them begin to come in when the borders are open, and if we're ready by that time, by God's grace.
Okay, all right, my brother, you have spoken so very well and so passionately about this. Let me let the people come in a bit, and I will take the first three. Kalen Fubara, I see your hand up. You will be the first to go. Then Dr. Oji Godson Uche will go next, and then I will take Tom Barry. Maybe you'll answer those three, and then I'll come to Anthony and Oyedu after. So Kalen Fubara, you can unmute yourself and make your contribution or ask your question. I heard Yibo talked about you. You are the lady in Dubai, right?
Oh, she's amazing, trust me.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Kalen.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. My name is Kalane Fubara, also Stella Fubara. And Yibo, thank you for everything you said about what we're trying to do with tourism. But I'd like to pose something to you and all the Africans that are on this platform, because I can see that there are more than just Nigerians. Your topic is youth development, culture, and entertainment. And I'm going to focus on the word development. And I throw this out to you. If we are complaining now about youth development, culture, entertainment, what do you think it's going to look like in the future when culture is not being taught at an elementary or secondary or university level? And keep in mind that culture also refers to language, not just dance and artwork, but language as well. I believe that the reason why we are struggling now in our culture and entertainment development is because we took it out of the academic process. We intentionally took it out. As you have said, tourism, culture, entertainment is an intentional devotion. And if we are not intentional about putting it back, where's the development going to come from? From people who can't speak their language? From people who don't know the dance steps?
So, Yibo, I hope you note that question.
Yes, I have.
Kalane Fubara, sorry for calling you Kalen. You know, sometimes we get these things all mixed up. Dr. Uche Oji, you can ask your question. Or make your contribution. You unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sonny. Thank you, my honorable friend, DG Yibo. It's been a pleasure. My name is Dr. Uche Godson Oji, and I'm actually listening from California. I think this is very important for me today. I have to call in sick at work just to make sure that I'm at home because of the time difference to listen to this topic. And thank you so much for your contribution, sir. Now, I have two questions. The first is, the growth of an industry is dependent on investment, especially individual investment, not government investment. Now, having said that, sir, how can we monetarily transcend our culture from just the media perspective, from just the media platform? What I mean by media, television, radio, Nollywood, to sensitize willing investors who will like to see a moderate growth and success from the investment they are making in the entertainment industry and in the development of the youth in Nigeria. And secondly, how can we actually add value to our culture to create a monetizing industry? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oji. You asked that question like a doctor, very straight to the point. I will take Tom Barry. Yibo, I hope you are noting down the questions and the comment. Tom Barry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah.
Unmute yourself, Tom Barry.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly, you hear everything. Yeah, so a very good forum. I came in late, so I might ask something. A lot of things here from Yibo are quite good, but I'm sure things like that. And for me, the born and bred is more of what you see. You know, how many people are digital? I'm not come back to Lagos about a week ago, and I really didn't see anything about tourism and I'm grassroots. I'm going. So the whole of Port Harcourt thing, and I'm sure if you ask people, you know, what do they see, what do they feel is difficult. So the flyovers in Rivers State, I see a blackened board that is used to demarcate areas. And what came to my mind is this: just like you said, people in the local government, you know, should do write-ups and drawings. It would be fantastic if all those drawings where you speak with the governor and then they can post it colorful and all those blackened boards, which you and I know soon people will start posting rubbish on. That alone is going to enable people, you know, to see, to know. Just driving across River State, you immediately, because you know, is what you see, you know, that usually also it's I see Port Harcourt Pleasure Park there almost 4 times a week. I've taken pictures there. All my friends from across the world, Houston, London, Singapore, Dubai, everybody's asking me, where have I traveled to again? I say, no, I'm in Port Harcourt, River State in particular, and they are shocked. What am I trying to say? Where are the pictures? I mean, where are the things we can post, you know, and to publicize this tourism? Yes, I understand the issues of schools and all of that, bringing it back to schools, but we are late. We need to run. We need to push, you know, so we need to advertise, publicize in every way we can. Where are they? Ordinary me and my phone, you know, with my camera, just doing exercise. You know, people around the world are asking me, where have you gone? We can't bring Oxford Street to River State. I was born in Shell Camp, and if you go to Shell Camp or even the Elf Club, Elf Camp there, is Oxford there already. So we can. Then finally, the artists, Nigerian Nollywood has gotten fantastic artists. Yibo, you're there. Stella Damascus, Francis, so many of you, you know, we are there as a group, you know, backing you up, talking about it, living in the state, pushing the state forward. You know, I can't imagine that 2 guys, you know, but they are opportunities. I see what you're doing, Yibo, but my advice is this: let us go to the basics seeing, publicizing. Yes, you can do the other book things, but the center of Port Harcourt, where it is. And we have something now that is massive, the Pleasure Park, beautiful, best, almost the best in Nigeria. Let us use it. Is there any sign there that is showing us the tourism potentials or placards or something? Let us use it and start from the basis. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom Barry. I will allow you both to respond to this first set of questions. I can see him. That was a tough one, okay? Then I will come to Anthony, Oyedo, and Veritas. So, Yibo, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Let me take, so I don't know if I want to start from Tom Barry back to Stella, but I say slow and steady. Tom Barry, let me take Tom Barry, which just ended now. Slow and steady, they stumble and run fast, right? You see, the thing that you want is, we like to deal with, visual imagery and spectacle that has no substance, right? The Port Harcourt Park, Pleasure Park, is a wonderful sight to behold if you come to think about it, because like I said about the copycat thing about Calabar Carnival and the use of the Caribbean style approach as opposed to the indigenous nature with which we have. So we like to deal with the spectacle when no get form. Tom, have you heard about Oyorokoto? Oyorokoto is in Andoni, right? Oyorokoto is the largest fishing port in the whole of I don't want to use the word Africa. Let me say West Africa, but I think Africa. Left and right is infinity. And then you go where the clouds enter into the ocean from normal green, then it turns blue. Are you aware it's in River State? Okay, it's somewhere where you need to have people to buy into what they have there, first of all. Like Stella said initially, if they do not understand that, you cannot do anything because you want to stay in Pleasure Park in Port Harcourt when you have 23 LGAs, 26 ethnic groups. Okay, let me tell you about Ogoni now. There's every year we discuss Ogoni 9, or 10. May their souls rest in peace, but all that were killed in that matter with Ogoni, with cancer everywhere. They called me this year, I spoke. Ken was an artist, as you know, was a creative, as you know that. My question is, after all of these years, if he was alive, what will he have done? Will he have been writing more or trying to put into motion all that he has written? But we are always talking about oil, weighed and spilled for Ogoni land. And that is the only thing that is in Ogoni land. So your art form, your agriculture, the beauty and way of life of Ogoni, you have not deliberately spoken about it. And if you go there now, you there for township, right? Go home now. Even the governor said it, Can you hear me?
We're hearing you.
Hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, we agree that we need to deal with the spectacle. But while we're dealing with the spectacle, we're also trying to sensitize people deliberately that even in their village, there's a pleasure park there. Even in their compound, their family compound, they can pleasure park it and grow wealth that people will come from all over and come and stay there. Because pleasure park, deals with the spectacle of Oyibo Jangolova. But the way of life of our communities, if it's safe enough, Oyibo, they prefer to come sit down for flying boats or canoe. They fish, they see how our indigenous lives are, how they dry fish, how they make nets, how they drag nets, how they do the aquatic. These are the kind of things that happen in our communities. And we need to now profile ways to which Dr. Oji said, we need to show them how to monetize those assets. So Tombury, yes, the governor is building the flyovers. I don't know the drawing and the beauty of what he will do. Definitely, I know that they would like to have the drawings and beautify the flyovers when they're not going to leave it black and white. That I'm sure of that, because they will do that. So even you, let's go back to our communities. What are you doing in your community with all your knowledge of traveling abroad? What are you doing in your community? We need to, all of us, go back and let us stop talking about oil spills all the time and see how we can develop our youth, how we can show them an alternative to the beauty of what they have. And that is key. Now, Dr. Agcy, if I can answer you in terms of monetization, there are a few tricks that I like to keep to myself because that borders again on intellectual property and it's a public space. But again, we have to go further. In terms of youth development and letting them know about their assets, because if you do not understand it, then you cannot grow wealth with it. Because like I said, it is feel good. Whether you're a guitarist, whether you're a drummer, whether you're a comedian, whether you are a craftsman, whether you're a painter, whatever you are, if you do not understand it as an asset to grow wealth, then you cannot grow wealth with it. So deliberately, 2021, I repeat again, is United Nations International Year of the Creative Economy for Sustainable Development. And that is showing that during COVID, everywhere in the world, after George Floyd's death, you notice that your brothers and sisters in the diaspora wanted to come back to the motherland. Ghana was agreeable, and of course, Stella is here. Dubai tourism, they're just there everywhere for Africa. No how they manage that. They're supporting everything, and we are here. So 2021 is the AU inspiration to integrate African common culture, common heritage. It is also the African Development Bank's Action Protocol to integrate Africa. It's the UNESCO's International Framework for Cultural Diversities. It is also the United Nations Year of Creativity for Sustainability. Going further, it's also the United Nations International Decade for the People of African Descent. It is also the African Union Model Law on Creative Economy for Prosperity. It is also the African Union Year of Convention for the Preservation, Protection, and the Promotion of Cultural and Heritage, and also the African Union Year of the Arts, Culture, and Heritage. What this means is that the world has focused their lens in Africa because we're still pure and original in our traditional vibes. Going back to Stella, if I have to just answer both together, even the Africans don't even know that. Our stories are not being told anymore. We don't even know how to. I remember, I fall within that tragedy. I can't speak, I can go back and forth, but I'm not fluent with Okrika dialect. Neither am I could speak Ikwere fluently before. Now, fortunately for me, I can speak Igbo a little bit. I can do like 70 to 80% of Igbo, but my dialect is lost. How do we do that again? It's the same thing, Kolo mentality. You want to speak English every time. And the curriculum makes sure that history does not exist again in our schools. So that is why through art, through the competitions that we're doing, right? Heritage Bank's Ife Sekebo, through his support, we had Kerekanife, which is like Tatari Goliri, Speak Okrika. We had that last year, the year before last. Last year, December, we did Speak Ikwere, which is already, we've done that already. In fact, Mrs. Traila called me today. So we have the books, we have the audio for you to beginner for Ikwere language. Then we also have Ibani language is what they're working on now and collaborate. So you see that already you are in Scotland, Krekanife from Leeds, Dr. Abie Goma, and some guys in London are consistently, they teach Okrika language every Saturday for like 2 hours online, right? So these are the kind of things that are happening all over the world. But I think that our job would be to sensitize people to click on those platforms, because the truth of the matter is that who is government? Government is me and you. So Doc, for monetization or getting people to invest in what we do, first of all, we need to agreeably make them understand that what we have is an asset for them to be a part of. And that's why I read through what the UN and the African Union has done or are doing to focus into Africa. Afrexim Bank has a lot of money to support what we do in Africa. But because we lack the procedures to which we can understand intellectual property, you know, the banks generally, even CBN, Zenith Bank, all the banks in Nigeria, one of the things they do, first of all, you know, is that for them is collateral, right? And collateral for them are brick and mortar, or maybe a car, or whatever. We have not understood intellectual property as a collateral. So these are the kind of things that we're beginning to try to do. And that's what we've done with Seki, for people to see the value. And if you can collaborate, you have Ernst & Young, you have PwC, you have a lot of companies that can actually listen to you and break down the monetization processes of your art forms. Once they do that, they now know how to deal with the monetization, so that anybody who wants to partner with you will now see and understand how they can grow wealth from being a part of what you're doing. Because the art forms are domiciled in our communities, the creativity are domiciled in our communities, but we don't know first and how to make money out of it. That is why we go back again to sensitization, being deliberate for the banks or people like you that want to get invested in to know the value chain. So we have to collaborate with those that will make it out for us. And then that is what River State is doing. And if I might say personally, that is what Seki is doing, to getting people know to do a buy-in, so that when they invest, they can see the return and partner more to grow capacity and have youth development and grow entrepreneurship for the young people, right? And for Stella, language, access, academic processes. Now, it's not a tall order, but again, you know that also borders on the education system, or how, I don't know why we lost it. I don't know what happened to the histories of Kanem Bono Empire, or your empire, the Kingdom of Benin, all of those, the Koko of Nanaku, all of those things that we learned in school. I mean, you went to Abloma, so you understand where we're coming from. There we had all of those things. What happened to that? I don't know. But what we're doing in River State, and I believe that these are the kind of things that every other part of the country will begin from, is that part of sensitization, part of trying to go into our communities, those low-hanging fruits that we're doing, is that we're dropping things in terms of incentivization that become deliberately competitive. Once they compete, we have that created as an asset for us to be a playback, for them to now begin to now understand that. So we can do competitions, languages, for people to be a part of this. Because while you're waiting for government to do the bigger picture, from the smaller picture, we can grow and make it better, because we know how to do it before government plugs it. They know, I don't know what they want us to do, but for us, our own bit is stellar, is that proactively, we're sensitizing based on the products that we have to engage our communities in their languages. Also, I give an example about the cuisine. This is, others can do this. So Stella, let me just help with language now. So part of our low-hanging fruits that we're planning to do is get our cameras. So rather than have onunu, which you know what I'm wearing now, the native riverine food, or the fisherman's soup, right? But we have so many delicacies in River State. So part of what the agency is doing is we're creating a kitchen where, with cameras, we're getting women from our communities to come to cook specific traditional cuisines, but they're going to do the cooking in the languages. So if you're Yogoni, depending on the dialect that you are in, you tell us that food and you speak in the language, and then we record you. Then we later do subtitling of it. But we now have how to cook an XYZ Ogoni cuisine in Ogoni language, but this is your cuisine. And we curate that. This is what becomes our own digital asset. So it can be done in Calabari, can be done in Ogoni, in Ebane, in Okrika, in Eche, in Nahoda, whatever languages that can be done. But once you do that in the languages we are creating, we're collecting it, and then when we begin to show it on YouTube or any of our platforms, what is key is that it's being done in the languages, and the curiosity of that language begins to spread. And that is how we can key into making people speak the languages, at least if it's through food, so be it.
Okay, Yibo, thank you very much. You've taken that time. I'd like to thank you for, if you are not satisfied, I think we'll continue to engage because the time we have is rather limited. Pastor Itwa is on the platform, and you see, we have almost spent an hour and a half already. You alluded at the beginning to the clergy not supporting culture and art because they think it's juju and all of that.
No, I'm sorry.
I would like Olu to play a video.
I'm not alluding. So let me say, I know that, like I said, before I started that, I said, let's don't generalize the language, right? It's not because we have...
Can you hear me, Sonny?
Yes, Pastor,
I have one question for our speaker today.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, good.
I have one question for him. We have all these artifacts all over the world, Benin artifacts, Oyo artifacts, and Ilorin, all these kinds of things. And they're being held by all these various countries. Even in New York, you have them. What should Nigeria do, or what does he think we should do to try and retrieve some of these things, and how can we get economic value out of them?
So the question is, first of all, do we understand that those things can fetch money for us in the first place? If we understand that,
I think
no, you're thinking. No, you're thinking now. We need to know that. Now, if as an individual, you know, the people whose responsibility it is to be in power, you know, to look at these things, do they know the value chain for this? Because if they do know, then by now would have gotten all of these things. So the same thing, yeah, it has to do with sensitization. We need to, because one day, God forbid, they give you one of the Benin heads, it's not a bronze. Before you go now, they don't take and turn firewood, right? Because the person who is looking after it does not even understand the value chain for it. So we need to say, okay, where is our national museum?
You tell me. You tell me.
Bros, you be Nigerian, forget say be pastor, you're Nigerian like me. Me say I be Nigerian.
You tell me, you are supposed to be giving us advice and insights and suggestions and things that we need to do to strengthen our country, to strengthen our economy, and to give direction to our leaders as to what they should do.
Okay, so like you're doing already, sir, is let us be deliberate with what we tell our leaders. Let us be deliberate with what we tell the people outside here. If we're not deliberate, then mischief makers will begin to pick holes, and then they will lose the truth and the key essence of our narrative. Now, understanding art as not for playing and merrymaking, and to understand that there's no business like show business, we must be deliberate to letting our leaders know that. Because the question came about Festac 77. After Festac 77, what happened? Deliberately, they thought and spread the narrative that our art form after Festac 77 now juju. Since then, nothing has happened in that same magnitude. So we need to retell the story and go back to why Festac 77 was held in the first place. Once we begin telling that story and letting people understand that our art form, be it local or whatever, is a key to our growth. I mean, like it's part of a key to our growth. And understanding that that thing you do in your village that have let white people come in to see, if you do it deliberately, you can make money for it. Then you now understand that bringing the artifacts from New York, we can go and picket New York people from New York. Nigerians are not, if we believe in it, then we can go to New York. We can go to the London Museum. We can go to Hague and write them. Individuals can start that movement if they believe in it completely. So we need to deliberately have a total buy-in until we agree. Because right now, we have iPod. We have the not people like the cleric who talks on his own terms or whoever is talking. So as long as you keep talking the way you talk, and then it seems as if you're talking for and on behalf of us, then that is when I will say, oh no, I'm from Ekiti, or I'm from Okrika. Then the Nigerian conversation is going to be, well, we just get green card, so green passport. So we need to be deliberate, sir. And being deliberate is people like you that have the platform to speak like you speak. We have to have more of you speak, because I said it and I mean it. If you go to our communities, our playgrounds where they play masquerades and dance have become crusade grounds. So every Christmas, when we need to gather and make merry traditionally in our communities, go there. Now that time when they do crusade that whole week. And if you want to, who won't go fight God in the real sense of it? When we are supposed to have our traditional performances away, they will now put crusade. Then you won't come be the one. We won't come dance masquerade. When they won't do say, you say, check them now. Now me, we won't make the call look as that my Jude was passed for this world. So we must be deliberate, because it cuts across. What keeps us together is the key essence of our traditional values. So if you, as an individual, you speak tradition, or when they play in the church, you dance small, you know that is cosmetic.
It's okay.
There are traditional things. Yeah. Huh?
I'll leave you to take on from there.
No, leave me, Pastor, leave me.
Okay. Is a pastor should dance more. We'll play the video. Let's see a reverend dancing to a traditional music as
Bros,
leave that
dance.
Actually do that.
Dance now.
No, watch this, Yibo. I will come to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, this is nice.
All right. Okay. I just wanted to show you that the clergy also do not.
I know.
The clergy also participate
in our
Pastor,
culture.
Thank you very much for your question. Anthony, Oyedu, and Vitaris, as we begin to bring this to a close, I want to thank everyone that has been on the platform so far. So I will let Antonio Bebo, then Oyedu, and Veritas Jeffney to take their questions in that order, briefly, so that, and you will make your answers brief also. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. So thank you, Yibo, for your effort. I was going to suggest that the Nigerians in diaspora, is a huge population, and in terms of promotion,
I can't hear.
Okay.
Mr. Anthony,
we can't hear you.
Mr. Anthony, you need to unmute.
Yeah, I heard you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry about that. Okay. So the problem I see with the diaspora, I was talking about Nigerians in diaspora, which is a huge population and can contribute a lot to what's going on out there. But the security issue is a major issue, because what's going on is people come home, and they want to stay for maybe 3 weeks or 4 weeks, but they can't even travel. Not everyone can, also, you see, like, if you can't travel by road, we're the foreigners. Traveling by air, you fly from here to there in 30 minutes, like we have in Nigeria, it's done. Traveling by road is where the foreigners, but you can't even do that. You can't travel by road, and, so many people in the diaspora, they're not coming home anymore. Just like so many people from there want to get the hell out of there so fast. So that is affecting our situation, because we have to do it. No foreigner is going to come and die in Nigeria, just because they love some culture, some dance. They have culture all over the world. So, but the issue that if you focus on we, the Nigerians, and the government, I know this may be beyond your scope, the sightseeing, the scenery, beautiful country, but you can't even use the roads. So that's the problem. That's I just want to point that out, that we're stuck like this, you know? So hopefully if we restructure, we'll get it solved.
All right, thank you very much, Anthony. I go to Oyedo, Veritas. I can see Antonia and Cledo. Just thank you very much for keeping it brief and straight to the point. Oyedo,
yeah,
go ahead. You can unmute yourself, sir.
I have. Good evening, and thank you for this wonderful presentation. It's great, really, you know. Mine is more of a collaboratory, position with the host, you know. What is happening is we are into 360 VR, XR games and animation. We have opportunity to train some Nigerians, because we see that the trend is people with laptops, what they want to do with laptops, youths with laptop, is to do 419. What if we bring up this concept of training in content creation, usable in animation, XR, VR, and the rest of them, and then tying in with your passion, with this passion of using the content as local content from Bayelsa, from Nigeria, you know, as the product to be trained on. It's just what I'm looking at, how we can collaborate together and have the same drive. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. I'm sure Yibo would like to take you up on that. And if he does, you have a partner. Yes, the third person, Veritas, Jeffney. Unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
I actually want to contribute. I want to, and at the same time, ask a question. Getting to Nigeria, we have an international airport. Do we have anything about Port Harcourt there? If not, why can't we display it? Getting to Port Harcourt, is there anything there that can tell me about Port Harcourt as a tourist? Trying to see where to go to. I'm in Port Harcourt, where should I visit? Do I have anything in Port Harcourt airports? Then if not, why don't you just have a small cabin and put something there to tell me about Port Harcourt? I remembered about 4 years ago, 3 years ago, before the COVID, I was in Port Harcourt. And I looked at the old place, nothing, just meat pie, people selling. There's nothing there to prove that I am in Port Harcourt and this is where I should go to. This is the sort of food they have that will educate me more about Port Harcourt. So that's all I actually want to say. And at the same time, let's not forget, someone was asking about museum. Our museum is gone, not the museum of those days. And I don't know what we can do to bring back that museum. They've made the museum look as if, I remembered when I came in, I brought in my children, and this is the museum I actually worked. And I looked at it, everything has gone down. I know it's not meant for the guy I'm talking to right now, but there are things we can do to bring back that beautiful thing we used to have. Our music. And I heard him saying the church has killed the culture and tradition. No, the church has not done anything like that. It's not that the church is saying juju, juju. There's something that is acceptable, and there are some things that are not acceptable. Our language is not juju. Speaking your language is not juju. And if you are able to put something there for somebody like me getting to Port Harcourt, how to read the ABCD of the language, and I'm able to say welcome or come or hello, how are you? Just like if you get into France, you'll be able to pick up something that will be able to make you understand a little language for buying and other things. I think that's all I actually want to say. And That's it.
Thank you very much.
And again, sorry, is there any project that is on ground right now to promote the younger generations? Because I heard the other lady talking about language. We have actually started losing our languages. Take, for instance, if you see an Edo man, before you see an Edo man speaking that language, it's so difficult. But when you see an Indian or Asian person, the first language they speak to their own children is their Hindus or whatever language or what part of the world they have come from. But in our own case, we use the word English. Agreed, English is our second language. How do we promote our language? Just like he said, he's an African man, and the African language is already wiping out. In another third or fourth generation, we might not know anything about Africa, how to greet. Amen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Yibo, before you answer, let me just take Clintworth and Charles. Those are the two outstanding questions so that you can combine all of them. I hope you are not losing track of what we're saying. Brother Charles, you can go on with your, no, sorry, not you, Charles. Clintworth first. Am I right? Clintworth. Unmute yourself.
Yes, you are. Okay.
Okay.
Yibo, I think well done. Yeah, well done. You've done. I don't have any question to ask. I'm just saying, well done. You've done a lot. Please, most of the things you've been talking about, I've got no clue. If there's a way for you to make these things available as much as possible, I really appreciate it. And then the fellow who talked about collaboration in terms of 3D and the rest animation, please, if we can take that up, I don't mind contributing to that exercise to animate most of our culture, if we can. Thank you, and well done for what you've been doing.
Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much. Brother Charles, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonny. Mr. Yibo, you're a fantastic guy. God bless you. Most people talk about problems, they don't talk about solutions. Everything you have said, you decided this is what I did to solve it. So let me let you know that you're in a different class, and one day you rule that country. But I have a few things I want to tell you. What makes societies different is technology, planning, and development. Technology is applied science. Now, technology is no longer technology. Technology is actually culture. So you can make a difference. So there's some things I'd like to suggest to you. The children, do they know how to make bricks so that the bricks don't break? We have amphitheaters in each of the senatorial districts. Do you know that the marathon, which is all over the world now, was at first a cultural event? And find a way to build more city centers. You know, you blew my mind. You're a cultural person. You talked about asset classes. Don't give up. And I'm happy. The way I look at you, you are never looking for anybody to accept you. Just keep doing what you're doing. If there's a way we can talk later on, I'll be able to give you some more details about what you're doing. Fantastic. Sonny, we're getting there. Yeah. The movement has started. Thank you very much.
Okay. We are bringing all aspects of it together. All right. Thank you very much, Brother Charles. I guess we've been able to take most of the comments and questions. Yibo, I leave you to answer this ones as briefly as you can. Then I ask you the final parting question.
Okay. So on the guy on collaboration, absolutely, like I said about the mythological of Rivers myths and mythology of Rivers State. These are the kind of things we agency we actually started. We're just waiting for our desktops to be available and all the softwares. My telephone number, I tried to put it up there. It's not there. It's 080. So I don't know if we can put it up for me. 080 333. Or any guy, you can write it there. 080 333 999 333 961. Yeah. That's it. And Yibo.Koko, Yibo.Koko at ROSTDA Yibo.Koko at yibo.rstda. That's it. Yeah, you know, YIBO, not YIBI. Okay. YIBO, Yankee India Bravo Oscar, not Y Yankee India Bravo India.
Go ahead.
Collaboration is key. Yeah, absolutely. Collaboration is key. So I would like to talk more offline on that. And that is key, that we work together. That I can't write anything, so just send me. My number is a WhatsApp number, so we can chat offline now. Madam, I'm not castigating the church. I'm just saying that from what I know, from experience, I worship at the House on the Rock, and my Bethel Church, Ahmadiyya, you know that the House on the Rock is creative art conscious. Even Pastor Chris, they all support the creatives in their space. That's not what I mean. But I mean that we deliberately, even in our communities, what village you are from, go to the village and see. They always speak against some of those things. Most times, yeah. So it affects the psyche of those who partake in that. But that is neither here nor there. In terms of coming to the airport, you know, I don't know the last time you came to Port Harcourt Airport, but again, after the COVID, Port Harcourt Airport changed. And what we're doing deliberately is we planned, we're still on it. It's called the Mystery Rider. So the Mystery Rider is working with boats, working with the airport taxis. So the idea is that we are briefing them, and we have our pamphlets and information about River State and all the good things about the state, the cuisine and all of those things. Now, in those pamphlets, we're working with the unions and boat people. So the idea is that a mystery rider could be anybody, you, madam, or myself, or anybody. Your job is just get into, from the airport, you can enter a car, or in Port Harcourt, enter any car, you want to go to buy anywhere. Well, let us see how the drivers sell Port Harcourt to you while you're in the car, or how they sell River State. But because we've given them pamphlets of key information about what they want to sell and what the experiences are. So the positive energy that they're going to drive. And once they do that, whoever is in the car is going to mark the driver. So if we take a month or two to do the mystery rider, as many points that come in from the drive, from the passenger or the rider, we're going to do a, what do you call it? A lucky dip. We'll do a show where there's a lucky dip for any driver. So first driver, who is the best seller of the Port Harcourt narrative, will give you a Camry. The second one, a Corolla. The other one is cash. So the idea is that once you do that, then you own the narrative of telling your story anyway. And that's how we're going to do that. And gradually I don't want to talk about funding right now, but yes, madam, we are working on all of the things that are possible for you to know about River State and for RSTDA to get a stand at the airport. And don't forget that River State, Port Harcourt Airport is a cultural zone now. I heard that the government has done that. So yes, we're going to do all things possible to making sure that once you get into River State from either the local or international, you're going to know about Port Harcourt, either from the ride. And we also want to do a bus shuttle. It's part of our plan. In that shuttle, we have a video about Port Harcourt. You know, we talk about, these are the kind of things we are planning to do. But trust me, we're trying our best to make sure that our boss, you know, gets all of these things in line, because don't forget, there are projects happening, and this project has to key in as well, and we must get that clear. So that is collaboration. The mystery rider to tell you about what we're doing with knowing Port Harcourt. As for the language, I've mentioned that earlier. So we will try our best to make sure that we cover all of those things. And don't forget, it is you, it is me, not just me. It's all of us. We must do all that we can to making sure that we make things work.
Okay. Thank you very much, Yibo, for this very good quality time. Before I let you go, the final question we would like to ask is, Yibo, if you were Minister of Art and Culture in Nigeria, and you have all the resources you need and everything you desire to execute projects for us, what will you do? if you were the minister for arts and culture, entertainment, and all the stuff, what will you do? And you have all the resources.
Mr. Sonny, the president.
Okay, let's leave it at minister. Yibo, go ahead.
I'm already a DG, and DG is Chief Executive Officer. So in Rivers State, naturally, we are doing what we have to do to making sure, because you see, we must get everybody involved. It's not about me being a minister. Just like what they do in the church or Redeemed Church and the bigger churches. What you do is you must have a very correct team, collaborate with people, man. You don't go there everywhere now. Teamwork. So when you roll out, sometimes you just talk, people will come. That's why there are sessions for you to talk about, to hear everybody, make people that's why I use the word Ernst and Young. I'm not advertising anybody, but these are the people I work with anyway. I have young people that work with me that develop. Look at, see, all the things that you see. These are documents. If I show you, if you want me to show you, I'll open my bag now. There are documents, all of the things, everything, photography, heritage, crafts, gospel, tech, everything that you want to do about the creative space for young people, they're all here. So once you have a teamwork and you know how to push people to do what they have to do, you don't necessarily have to always micromanage people if you have the right kind of people. And it's across board. And I told you, we get over 100 million people. Today, whether my friend from Ogoni likes it or not, like my brother said here, today society drives its tech, its planning, and its what again? Development. These key things go together. And that's what we did with Seki, like I told you. Look at how colorful Seki is. It's the same masquerade where you go walk past, they dance for village, you say, but because we aligned it with what is very contemporary. In April of 2016, I was on Broadway. I went to give a lecture in New York. And, the guy that was dancing for me was doing tap, but he was dancing tap to the accompaniment of the bata drum, just like he showed me the bata drum. And I told him, no, bata drum has a particular style with which they go in their dress and how it's done. But in my place, we use Igbiri. The Igbiri, as it were, deals more with the tap dancer, because if you check the early 19th century narrative of the tap dance and how it evolved from the cotton fields of America, it is from the west coast of Africa. If we have to go into history, but let's leave that. So for be as it may, if I am who I am, I must make sure that everybody who is in Nigeria will understand the ability to be a part of that, because not be just me. When men gather to peace, it forms very well. And that's unity of action. Forget the cliche, I like to use this all the time. But the key thing is that collaboration is key. We do not need to compete when we can collaborate. You can compete with yourself to do exceedingly well, but collaborate with people. It doesn't matter how many, again, Mr. Nebi, how many, look at your kids, my own kid, how many of our kids that are 24, if the girl is not married, I can tell you she has a double master's and they do well, either from Cambridge, Oxford, or anywhere in the world. Are they working in our system? No, they are not in the civil service. They are not anywhere. So we need to bring them back into our system where all they have learned in the other society and become very good at what they do. Let them come and practice it in our own society. The government of the day must allow for that to happen, because we have young, vibrant, energetic Nigerians that know what to do, but are frustrated from coming to do because old people fool the whole space. I'm not a youth, but check them. Even people will be my mama age, who is 76, going 80. Now them still day. And that is the tragedy of our nation. My mother is 76. I know what she can do. Imagine your own mama will be 80. When should they head your parastatal? Because in change age. How that one go happen? I know go work now. So if I'm a leader, I will make sure that we work with the right kind of people and empower them to express themselves, give them rules of engagement so that Doing wayo will not be an order of the day. But let us speak well about ourselves. Let us believe in ourselves, because once you do that, every other thing comes to place.
Thank you very much, Yibo, for this very, very engaging and passionate presentation. Like Charles said, you know, he has a lot of things for you. Charles, he has put his number on the platform and his email, and for all that want to engage with him. It was a very, I mean, it's 2 hours already. You know, I want to thank everybody that came on the platform today. The conversation continues. We can never exhaust this, but we keep looking for how to make this country better, and we look for ways. And we know that one of the ways is engaging the youth. And the creative space is one area where they are very interested naturally. So if we can direct a lot of energy and resources towards that, like Godson asked, you know, he's saying investment in the industry. How do we add value to the industry to make it attractive to people that want to invest there? Not necessarily government, so that we can create that employment for the youth that they need to do. The conversation continues. We can engage. Yibo, do you have your social media handles?
Follow me on this one. Instagram is Yibo Koko. Facebook
Twitter
is Yibo Koko.
Okay.
When they bring us back on Twitter, it's still Yibo Koko. Yibo Koko everywhere.
Okay.
YIBOKOKO, yes.
All right.
Follow
so
me.
Everyone, thank you very much for being a part of it today. Follow Yibo Koko on Instagram and on Facebook. Don't go to Twitter, or don't let Lai Mohammed get you guys, okay? Thank you very much, everyone. Goodbye, Yibo. Thanks very much. I hope you will have time to come back again some other time when we invite you. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you for making it possible that I'm here. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye. Let me go and read the chat, I beg.
Thank you very much, everyone. Huh?
I want to go and read chats. Sorry. Kesuviri, thanks very much for coming on. Great to have you. Oyedo, thanks very much. I appreciate you very, very well. God bless you. Abidemi,
thank you very much.
God bless you. Yeah, it was nice having you all on the platform.
Have a lovely day. Good night.
Yes, I'm wanting to read.
Yeah, we would send it to you. Olu, make sure that you both get all the comments. And,
okay, yeah, please.
If he needs to respond.
All right, thanks.
Make sure that you both get.
Let me stop munching because I can't get. I'm trying to see if I can get.
You will get them. I will send it to you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, and wonderful conversation.
Yeah, welcome. God bless.
If I did you wrong, I'm sorry.
Great.
No, you've done wonderfully well. Thank you.
My passion sometimes they carry me too much, eh?
That's what we want here. Want it real.
That's what you want.
God bless you. God bless you. All right, I'm leaving now.
Okay.
You can't leave there, you want. Every time you want to kill us.
What I do again? Come back. Go, go work for Godiland.
Come, Bodo.
But I come, I did presentation now. Come back with me tomorrow morning.
Nah lie, I dare go hotel.
Idiot.
Okay, Brian Paul.
All right,
I did Federal Palace.
You don't see me now. I must market my state to see presentation. I don't see the best in that presentation. You did like
Federal Palace, Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
All right. Ibrahim, I will expect your message. Take care. God bless you all.
All right. Bless you.
Okay. God bless you. ending the program now.
Yeah.